all of a sudden.
Shh, quiet, we're starting. We Make Movies Film Geeks podcast, landmark episode number 50. Whoops, that's the wrong intro. Welcome to the We Make Movies podcast, making the world a better place, one film at a time. And now, here are your hosts, otherwise known as the director, the actress, and who the hell is that guy? Chad, Michelle, and Garrett. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the We Make Movies Film Geeks podcast, the podcast that's all about how to get your movie made, how to get it seen by other people, and how to get it awesome. I'm your host, Garrett Robinson. With me, as always, faithful co-hosts Chad Kukihiko and Michelle Lucadou. We are all independent filmmakers and members of the We Make Movies filmmaking community in Los Angeles. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special, way early in the morning show. Jesus God, why did we decide to do this?
Number 50.
Landmark episode number 50.
Sorry, guys.
I don't know if you guys noticed, you probably don't know this, but I was demonstrating the Molar technique.
I am not, no. I'm not.
Oh.
It's a drumming
I
technique.
don't know if you guys noticed, but I was doing the dolphin. What?
Yeah, all right.
What? Yeah, thanks.
So we basically, you know, have as viewers will know, and people who expect us to be here on time every Sunday, which don't you have better things to do? We were not able to, all three of us, get together for the last couple of weeks, and it was really important to me that landmark episode number 50 be with all three of us because, you know, it's a big deal. And so here we are, but then we all got really freaking busy today, and the only time that we could actually do the show was now at 7 in the morning, so God help us all. On the plus side, my voice sounds super deep and sexy.
So sexy. We had a viewer for a heartbeat. Did you notice that?
Yes, I did.
We had a viewer, and then they were like, yeah, no.
No. Yeah, do not expect the usual stunning level of quality in this morning's show.
Well, here's the wonderful thing. I very much enjoy watching some of the most popular women on YouTube, and many of them...
As do I, but for different reasons. Sorry, carry on.
You just stopped her cold. It's like, yeah, nope.
Wow, I was just like, never touch that mic. You know, like, so there are all these like women that get on YouTube and they're like, get ready with me. So today, if you are a viewer instead of like a listener, it's Get Ready with Michelle Day on Film Geeks.
Yay.
So you'll see me transform from this sack of shit that I wake up with
That's so awful.
into something else.
Oh, don't be so hard on yourself. So we're going to launch right into it because we've all got busy days and we need to move through the show. We start, as always, with community news. Chad is back. Welcome back, Chad. Oh, we missed you while you were in Hawaii.
I miss you guys.
We kept it together barely, but like barely.
Oh, hey.
Let's just all be honest. Workshops are done for right now. You will have noticed that there are no new events scheduled for the entire month of June and the first half of July, but WMM Fest is happening now. You can find a schedule on wemakemovies.org/calendar, right, Chad?
Very soon you will.
Very soon.
WMMfest.com is probably an even better place to go to. It's the 18th, 20th, 22nd, 25th, and 27th, 8 p.m. every night except for Sunday the 22nd, which is a 6 p.m. show. We already have the lineup all figured out.
Excellent.
But I'm going to try to post that online tonight. We're trying to figure one thing out. We had a guy drop out, and so we got to replace it. So we'll figure that out.
All right, and Michelle dropped in a community news note. Do you want to read that, or it just says?
It says, and I quote, "I fucking love you guys," because these sweet gentlemen won't tell you, but the reason we're here at 7 a.m. is because of me. Because I have three different shows today, two of which that I am actually calling, one of them that I directed. So, yeah.
Yay.
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 It's our pleasure. It actually, despite the fact that, oh my God, I want to kill myself, it actually kind of worked out because I am going to the beach after this, and I was going to have to come back early to do the show, so now I can do whatever I want. Yay! Yeah. So let's get right into the general news items for the day. I will start. We have already talked on the show about how Edgar Wright, such an awesome director, who did Shaun of the Dead and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and yada yada yada. He backed out of the Ant-Man movie for Marvel.
No! Yeah, I didn't hear that. That sucks.
And we talked about how sad I was about that. Oh, okay. So, listeners, you just learned that Chad didn't listen to the show while he was gone.
I listened to one of the two shows that I missed.
So I was very, very sad about this. And Marvel's looking for somebody new. And Adam McKay emerged as the front runner. He directed both Anchorman films, which is like, wait, what?
That's interesting.
He does have close ties to Paul Rudd, who is still slated to be playing Ant-Man, so he had that going for him. But unfortunately, or fortunately, everything came crashing down shortly afterwards when McKay backed out of the project entirely. He was like, no, you know what?
I love McKay, but I think that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, maybe. You know, the thing is, though, is that Anchorman did have some big action scenes, so I was trying to wrap my head around it and be like, I tried to give Marvel the benefit of the doubt. But this is the first Marvel project I've experienced, anyway, that I've followed, where it does seem to be stuck in a sort of development hell, which is very unusual for their films. So, anyway, I remember Edgar Wright was working on that film since 2006, which is, I mean, that's a long time for one of these films. So it's not like it is Ant-Man. It's not like it's not like the Captain America film is being delayed or Iron Man or something like that. But I was super excited about it, and I'm sorry to see it fizzle like it's doing. So sadness.
If I may just say,
yes,
Ant-Man, really?
Yeah. Oh, dude, no. In the comics, he's awesome.
I know he's awesome. But I mean, potentially this was before you get together a focused group to figure out what to name a superhero.
Well, yeah.
I doubt they care. I mean, honestly, Marvel. I don't think they've. I think it's Kevin Feige who's the genius behind the whole Marvel cinematic universe. But whoever it is, it doesn't seem like they care. It seems like they're just making decisions based on what makes sense to them.
I think she's talking about the general idea of a superhero named Ant-Man. But Michelle, if you think about it, it's not that much dumber than a superhero named Spider-Man. I mean, they're both tiny insects, Like,
well, spiders aren't.
Spiders.
Oh God, damn it, Dad! I knew you were going to do that. All right.
Dad.
Michelle, you're up.
Yes. I have things to say. Actually, I have a very sad thing to say. Joan Loring, who was Oscar nominated for Best Supporting Actress in the 1945 film The Corn is Green. She passed away last week in New York. She was 88, a stunning lady, beautiful actress. You might remember her from Three Strangers or The Verdict. I like old movies, leave me alone. Stranger on the Prowl. She also, though, was like on TV. She was Emma in Lizzie Borden, the sister to Lizzie Borden, and she was on a 1956 episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and she was on the Love Boat. Oh my God, she's amazing. Anyway, she'll be missed.
That's very sad, and what's also very sad is that you missed saying the suburb where she passed away, which was Sleepy Hollow, which is like, I mean, obviously the site of the Headless Horseman. No, but that is very sad. Sorry, that was very insensitive. It's early morning. What do you expect from me right now?
God, I hope none of her family members are watching right now.
Because anybody's watching this show right now.
We have a viewer.
We do. We have one viewer. Hi.
Comment on the YouTube I wonder if it's the one who went away and then came back for the very
beginning. If you comment on the YouTube video live, as always, we can bring up your comments live and answer them on the show. So there you go.
Yeah, that's right. You could also tweet.
You can pick my lipstick color for the day.
Okay.
That is enticing. You can also tweet with the hashtag We Make Movies, hashtag We Make Movies, and we will also comment on.
Oh, are you monitoring that? Because I'm definitely not. Okay,
I'm monitoring that right now. So. Yes.
Pad's on his shit, man.
Right, sucker.
When he's in it.
So I'm going to move on to my topic, if that's okay. LeVar Burton has raised almost like 3 point.
Is he the one who's the basketball player who's not as good as Michael Jordan?
Nope.
Or Kobe Bryant?
No, that's not LeVar Burton. LeVar Burton had a show called Reading Rainbow back in the day.
The one that got really pissed off fans when he didn't join the Miami Heat, or he did.
Oh my God! Are we talking about film or not?
It's my turn. My turn to talk. I have the conch. He also it was Geordi in Star Trek Next Generation, but he did a Kickstarter campaign to do this whole really cool thing for Reading Rainbow, bring Reading Rainbow in interactively into classrooms for free. And so they raised over $1 million within the first 24 hours. It's incredible. Their new goal is $5 million. Because whenever you make it, and they had 20 more days to go, or however long. I don't know how long the whole campaign was, but I think it might have been a 30-day campaign. I think at this rate they're going to be well above that, because at the moment they're like at $3.5 million. They have 24 days to go. That's more than 3 weeks. I have an idea. I have a feeling they're probably going to make that, be way above that. So I'm curious what they'll do with the extra money. It's a really great situation to be in. Not for everybody, but I think for a situation like this where you got your shit together. So here we are again with further proof that the audience is the greatest asset. I mean, it also helps. I'm sure that the cause is pretty awesome, bringing again interactive Reading Rainbow learning experience, which already has a ton of video from years and years. I don't quite know how many years, but it was on PBS for many years. Into 7,500 classrooms for free. Pretty cool cause. But I'm also sure that the fact that LeVar Burton has 1.82 million followers on Twitter does not hurt. If you get the chance to check out the Kickstarter campaign, definitely I guess Google Reading Rainbow Kickstarter. That's how I found it. You definitely watch the video all the way to the end, especially if you're a Next Generation fan. There's some pretty kind of funny tongue-in-cheek jokes. The one at the very end is my favorite. So check it out. It's really cool. If you want, check out what the rewards are and whatnot. If you have a kid, I think you're really going to want to support this. You're going to want to spread the word.
No. Not if you have a kid. Not if you if you don't throw your money at this show, you want the terrorists to win. I have flung money at this program, and you need to.
Garrett doesn't have much of a filter in the morning.
No.
What if we have Taliban people on watching our show? What if we have fans of the Taliban? They probably are not fans of that show.
But it's also further proof that the sequel is not dead, man. You just remake some good shit that was good. I mean, I'm waiting for the Goonies remake, or whatever.
God help us.
Yeah, all those exercise TV shows from the 1980s.
Including the breakdancing one that Vin Diesel did that he doesn't want you to know about. Yeah. Yep. Find it. He looks ridiculous. He has a headband and stretch pants. It's actually kind of cool. On a semi-related note, no, I can't make the jump right now.
Segue. Just no lube. Just jump right in.
So The Fault in Our Stars came out on Friday. This is the movie based on the novel by John Green of the Vlogbrothers that has just sold all of the copies. The book, when it first came out, stayed on the New York Times and Amazon #1 bestseller spot for 53 weeks, or 54. More than a year. Yeah, it's insane.
Wow.
So I didn't really get to cover the movie in the last few weeks when it was happening, but John Green actually went on a press tour with the actors for the film, and he, not them, he was so freaking popular that it became a problem. And we know specifically that it was John that drew the crowds, not the actors Shailene Woodley or Ansel Elgort, because both of them already did a whole press junket tour for the film Divergent, which they were also both in. And they didn't have anything like this happen. John Green did a live appearance at a bunch of malls across America, and the first one was in Miami, and they got fucking bum rushed. It was like John Green was a beetle. They had to rush him out of a Miami show when crowds broke through the guards and the barriers around the stage and tried to touch
What's wrong
him.
with people?
So, the movie dominated at the box office. In this week's YouTube video, John Green said he thought it would be really cool if they beat the Tom Cruise film Edge of Tomorrow, and he has gotten his wish. The Fault in Our Stars is predicted to end the weekend at $57 million at the international box office, and the movie only cost $12 million to make.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
But have you seen the preview?
Yes, I have.
But regardless, I mean, it's not an action film. I mean, has that ever happened with a non-action film, with a non-action summer film?
And meanwhile, no, it hasn't. And it's also it's the biggest. It's something like the biggest pre-order weekend or opening weekend for a romance other than Titanic.
What?
That's what it's next to. So anyway, and meanwhile, the Edge of Tomorrow will end at just below 30 million. So he beat it. He got his wish. So anyway, public attention isn't what it used to be. In other words, the people who are considered the famous people have shifted. It's not just movie stars anymore. Because an author can now be a household name with thousands of screaming fans chasing them through the streets, whether it's John Green or George R. R. Martin or whatever. This guy is... yeah, well, there you go. Pre-order.
I may say, Garrett, it is your fault that I did not get at least 45 minutes of sleep last night because
not because of my books. Hey-o!
Your butt. Yeah, Garrett. Yeah.
Anyway, he has built up this thriving community mostly due to his YouTube channel, which then translates into his books, which are really freaking good, which then has now translated into the movie. So, like, if there are still people out there who are hating on online video and saying, like, you're wrong, I don't know what to say. And side note, my final note on this one, I really want to give him major props because after being rushed and then being quickly escorted out of the Miami Mall, he immediately took to Twitter and apologized profusely to the fans who didn't get to meet and greet him at the event because they got cut off so early. It was the sweetest thing to watch. He was just like, listen, I'm so sorry, guys, that I couldn't get to see all of you, which is just like, oh. Anyway.
Oh.
That's sweet. That's sweet. Speaking of okay. I can't wait for Maleficent. I haven't seen it yet.
Me too.
I don't care that it's getting like kind of tepid reviews, whatever. I'm not normally a Disney fan. I know. I should be since they employed me for like 7 years. But I'm not. But Maleficent is like everything. And like a perfect job casting Angelina. I mean, so here's the skinny. It grossed $69 million nationally on its opening weekend and $100 million internationally, which I find interesting. And to set the sell in the audiovisual campaign, I don't know if you guys have seen. I'm sure you've seen it. It's like crazy adult, which is why I was very excited about it. And it looks really scary for kids. No, I wish.
Well, then it's not super adult. Oh, and by the way, I'm late here, but.
So listen, but here's the thing, it looks like it's too scary for kids, but the movie is apparently not frightening at all, and it has a PG rating. Like, what the hell?
Not PG-13?
What? Not PG-13, a PG rating.
Wow.
I haven't seen a PG movie since I was, like, probably young enough to see a PG movie, for reals. Okay, but here's my question. Is it Angelina that's the big box office draw, or is it the fairy tale?
I think it's a combination of both. That, like, my opinion, just my personal experience. Obviously, this is anecdotal. What?
That's the easy way out.
No, my opinion. Like when I saw the trailer, I was like, this looks so awesome, and oh my God, Angelina in that role, hell yeah. I'm not like, oh my God, an Angelina Jolie movie, but I'm like, that's one of those moments that shows how important casting is. Not just that you get a big person, but that you get the right person. So that if people are like iconic character and it's being played by that actor who, oh my God, is so perfect for them, discuss amongst yourselves. I'll be right back.
The that was clearly a child thing.
I thought he had to go take a dump.
Question. Why do you think it has like 51% on Rotten Tomatoes?
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I think people didn't like it. I don't know.
Well, it's got 51 with the critics, so the critics are worse with it than the fans. The fans give it 76. But
I think what's happening is I'm thinking it's a little false advertising. I think these previews look ridiculously scary and cool and dark, and then you get there and it's a fucking PG movie. Like, that's what I think.
Okay. We're just wondering. I posed a question while you were handling whatever was going on.
Children trying to sneak into the room.
Oh, funny. Why the Rotten Tomatoes is not very good, even though it's made so much money. I mean, of course, that's not always an indicator. I know with those Adam Sandler movies, what was that one? They did a sequel to it with like friends from back in the day. I don't know. It was like
Grown Up.
Chris Rock, blah blah blah. That one has even worse Rotten Tomatoes and still makes a lot of money. So the critics hate it, but it's still anyway. I was just curious about that because I didn't know it was doing so well. I had heard that it was not doing well on Rotten Tomatoes, but I had not heard that it had sold so many tickets. So
yeah.
At the end, who cares? We're all like, oh, we hear it's not very good, but we still want to see it, so it doesn't matter. It just still makes sense.
Yeah, it is interesting how many people I saw with that frickin' head thing on, at the opening weekend of Dances with Films.
Yeah. No, but I do think it's that thing of like if you cast somebody who people just go, oh, I want to see that person play that thing. This is kind of a bad analogy, but if they announced a new live-action Little Mermaid film starring Felicia Day, I'd be like, oh my God, take my money.
I just got the sense.
Did you just cast someone else's Ariel other than me?
I'm just saying that maybe she is.
Really?
I'm just saying that I would go watch that film. Not saying I wouldn't watch it if you were in it.
Whatever, I'm not talking to you anymore.
All right.
I just got the sense that Angelina Jolie is like the Morrissey of the film world.
Morrissey?
Morrissey. Yeah, it was like all rockabilly. It was all like
the same building as her?
It was all like Latino rockabilly fans with the Maleficent. All the girlfriends, obviously, who had the Maleficent hat thing on at that opening weekend. It was
nice,
very interesting. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and jump into my situation, if that is okay with you guys.
Do it.
Please, I'm curling my hair.
It appears that the days of digital sales transparency may have finally arrived. VHX, the direct-to-fan distribution platform similar to Yekra and PivotShare, which we have spoken about in the past, has launched a stats page on their site where they brag about their sales. As you may know, I've been on the hunt for hard and fast digital and VOD sales for all kinds of different projects since we first started this podcast well over a year ago. Every time I find that rare bit of released VOD numbers, they're not that impressive, at least not compared to regular theatrical box office releases. For instance, $1.5 million in revenue is probably, it might be awful for a film that cost $5 million to make or $50 million, but for a film that cost you like $250,000, that's like 6 times what the investors, put in to make the movie. So probably not a bad idea. Anyways, I digress slightly. While lamenting about the lack of digital and VOD numbers for so many different projects, I've been told that the reason nobody's releasing the numbers is that they're just not that impressive. And the companies that are hoarding their numbers, so much as, not so much as hiding them, because I thought maybe they were hoarding them because they wanted it to be secret, not hiding them because they were embarrassing. But I think that maybe I was wrong with that. Maybe they have been kind of not that impressive. Again, they may have been profitable, but not, millions and millions, just not interesting. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I can't find any evidence in either case. But, for somebody as tech-loving as myself, even I can count the number of videos that I've purchased outside of iTunes, Google Play, Amazon Worlds, the Amazon worlds on one hand. So clearly, we're not there yet. Right. And these VHX numbers, which by the way, it says that they have sold $3.2 million worth of video direct to fans, and as impressive as that is in many senses, LeVar Burton still raised more than that in just over a week in a matter of days. So I don't want to necessarily get too much into this particular topic as much as kind of tease up my main topic because I want to talk about.
I like that when you say tease.
I want to talk about this whole thing more during my main topic, but it is, it is interesting that these sales are so small. But again, in context, I don't think it's that bad. I think, for instance, for pure indie, maybe 3.2 million. Maybe that's probably all Louis C.K. But right. But it's anyways. It's an interesting thing. We don't have to talk about this too much. Like I said, I want to talk about it more during my main topic.
Okay, but if I might tease you for just a little bit, Chad.
Sure. Anytime, whenever you want.
I think it's about percentage, not dollars.
I think so too. That's my point. That's exactly my point. But I've been thinking that for years.
Oh, Chad. Too much teasing. Just a little bit. Just the tip.
By the way, when I was in Hawaii, I asked my mom if she watches this show, and she's like, "Yeah, friend is a potty mouth."
Wait, which friend?
Well, she clearly hasn't been watching since Michelle's been on, but she was talking about you.
Okay.
Yeah, Garrett Robinson, he'll piss off your mom. That should be my byline. So
we should probably just move on because I want to get more into that topic.
I was going to get more into it, and then I decided that we'll get into it when you do your main topic about it. So my main topic is slightly outdated because I wrote it last week, but I'm going through. So I'll give what I prepared, and then I'll just kind of wing it for a second. Going through a little bit of a thing right now. Huh? No, not a thing. I'm always going through a hair thing.
Are you going through the change?
I'm going.
Starting to have that not-so-fresh feeling?
I'm starting to have the not-so-fresh feeling. Things are happening downstairs that I don't completely understand. There is much more hair than I thought would ever exist on a human body.
Wow, what's funny is that the change with women is a very different change.
We're kind of combining them. We're throwing them all together into this. Anyway,
yeah, it happens once a month. Your body starts going through all of these things, and then you're a werewolf, right? That's how it's.
That's exactly correct. That's what happens to women.
Women, puberty.
Yes.
So, no, my next book, Rebel Yell, shameless plug, went out to beta readers, not this week, but week before that. And these are, some of them are friends of mine. Michelle happens to be reading it, and others are readers who have, read all my books and whatever, and they go through the book well in advance of publication. They give their thoughts, feedback, point out any major flaws and whatever. So one of them had already finished it as of a week ago. As of now, 2 more people have finished it. But this first guy, he's a personal friend of mine, sort of. He's an internet friend of mine. When I say personal friend, people generally think we know each other and offline, but it's not. He lives in Norway. He's another author. And he's read everything that I've written, and he likes all of it. So he's reading Rebel Yell, and he's just like, this is great, I love this, oh my god, I love this so much. And then he gets to the ending, and holy crap, he hates the ending so much, not in like a, oh, you totally got me with this, but like a, this ending ruins the book. And his actual quote is, "This is the worst of things. It's an amazing book with a completely lackluster ending." And then later goes on to say, "I would have given this book a 10 up until the end, at which point it became a 3. And I'm like, oh. So enough flagellation for a moment, because two other people have finished the book, and they didn't feel that way about it. So, like, I feel a little bit better about it than I did a week ago.
I'm almost there, Garrett. I'm almost there.
That's not the first time I've said that.
It's a dirty podcast. I will say, Garrett Robinson, you're a good writer when you're not trying to be.
Thank you. So, why am I bringing this up? Well, first off, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. He and I have written several thousand words of emails back and forth talking about the issues and everything. I really do value his input, and I have isolated the things that I think I need to fix, and I'm going through the book and whatever. But I also think that it's important to remember, and this is something that we've talked about a lot on and off the air, is that you don't have to be in agreement with everyone about what you decide to do, even if you do respect that person's opinion tremendously. And just like in a critique group in general, like when we do our writers' workshops and everything, just because you get a critique doesn't mean that you need to do it, which means that you don't need to argue with the person. Like, you don't need to be like, well, I think you're wrong because of blah, because if you think they're wrong, just don't do what they tell you to do with your script, or in this case, your book, whatever.
Right.
But because sometimes they might like everything that you do, and there might just be the one project that they can't really get into, and you have to be okay with that, because you will never please everybody all the time, and you won't even please your truest fans with every single thing that you do. So while that can be discouraging, and while I've been going through a lot of emotional distress going through this thing, I don't mean to over-dramatize it. It's all fun. But think about it this way, and think about, even with your best friend, the person who knows you best in all the world, realize that even with them, there is probably a movie that you totally love that they totally hate, and vice versa. And it can be the same way with your audience, which sucks. But as long as you respect them and do your best for them, and maintain your integrity with what you're trying to do with your art, I think it can go a long way in maintaining that audience, even when you don't satisfy a portion of them with one thing. Because there are certain things where he's like, I think you need to do this, and I'm like, I'm definitely not going to do that, and here's my reasons why. And he's just like, well, I wish you would do that, but cool, like, it's your art. So that integrity
that's telling. I mean, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Is the other two readers that came to the end of the book, did they love the ending?
Yeah.
Or were they like, meh?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
I mean,
okay, well, see, here's what I think, is like, if people are passionate about it one way or the other, then you're doing something right.
Well, that's the thing, is you kind of said two things. Like, he said it was lackluster, but then before that you said he hated it. And I feel that sometimes,
well, his quote was, "It's an amazing book with a lackluster ending," but his general communication is like, "Oh my God, if this ending is like this, you're going to ruin the book."
Oh, okay. So so as a writer, he hated what you. Okay, because what Michelle was saying just then was exactly one of the. I mean, the fact is I could talk about this one topic for a lot of time, because it's something that I feel very strongly about. I mean, one of the main values that we make movies is make the movie that you want to see. So, and the whole point of that is, yes, that you're not going to please everybody, and some people you're going to really piss off, and that's sometimes a good piece of art. I, for instance, as much as I really respect the Coen brothers, thought that I have very specific opinions about what art is and what the purpose of art is, and so Our Country, what was the name of that?
No Country for Old Men.
No Country for Old Men was really, I did not like that movie at all, in the same way that I did not like Elephants.
Really?
Yeah, because I have very specific opinions about, because I thought it was, I thought the theme of it was a very, very, and I think that, and this is another thing that's probably a little bit controversial. I think that writer is super, super overrated, and I've not found a poor minority that likes him. All I find is white people that really enjoy that guy. They're like, oh, greatest American writer ever, because it's like depressing. You know, it's like people, poor people, minority people, they're not interested in like, oh, we're bad and life sucks and blah. They're not interested in that kind of stuff. We want stuff that is a little bit more elevating, and I think that to a certain degree, I'm a fan of. Anyway, I don't want to get too much into
like
this.
The Newsroom. It's just white people agreeing with white people.
I haven't seen that yet, so I can't. I don't have a comment on it. But to me, the point is that everybody comes to art with their own particular things, and it's more than just tastes. It's also sort of philosophical things, because I know that the piece, as a piece of filmmaking, No Country for Old Men, is amazing. Right. But my problem is in the message it forwards.
Yeah.
And that is a little piece of poison dropped into society, which, believe it or not, that's the purpose of art, in my opinion, is it needs to be something...
Just to poison society, no.
It's to poison society.
Strong words. A little piece of poison.
Yeah. What was the point of that film? The point of the film was, you can't stop what's coming. You can't stop. That was the point of the film. He said it at the freaking table. That was the point of the film. You can't stop it because it's just going to happen, and it's all evil. That's basically the point of the film. Evil wins because it's, I don't know, I didn't even really, and that's the point of, honestly, that's the point of that freaking writer. I mean, everything, the road, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's just, that's why white people love it, you know, and not all white people, but not like.
Wow. Not only are we like going with the bathroom humor, we're like being kind of racist too. It's really
listen, I'm not saying that it's. I'm saying privileged people.
Yes.
You know, you're not seeing. That's what I meant. Privileged people, not so much white or whatever. I think that it's more a matter of people who have, you know, some self. You know. Anyway, the point is that I think that, you know, that if you made a strong opinion on this guy, that's one thing. If he felt like this is like, you know, a turd, that's a whole other can of worms. But at the end of the day, it's your book, right. And you're the one who's going to have to, you know, and this is the same for everybody making whatever piece that they want. They're going to learn the lessons that they want. And I think that as long as we keep, as Ira Glass says in that amazing video, keep making things, that even if after, you know, you're 3 books down the road and you look back and you're like, oh, he was right. You still had to do that. You still had to go through that yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
So anyway, that's the truncated version of all the things I could say about this specific situation.
I'm sorry, that was truncated.
Yeah. This is a thing that I feel. It's a thing that I feel very strongly about. I mean, I feel that artists need to, you know, have their voice and feel. Otherwise, I wouldn't be donating so much of my time to We Make Movies the way I am.
Yeah, I feel you totally.
Chad.
Well, thank you guys.
Anyway,
Chad, you're kind of open-hearted and a little gushy in the morning.
I am all the time. You haven't had me on for a while, but I'm a very caring person.
He says with this deep voice. Okay, my turn.
Let's do it.
Okay. Producer Ted Hope launched a new web series called Reinvent Hollywood, and it's about like literally starting from the ground up to kind of reboot our industry. Ted's the CEO of Fandor and has some pretty specific ideas as to what we should do to work out a better system for audiences, artists, and like business. It's a really interesting series, I think. Mostly, and most importantly, it started a dialogue about how it can basically reinvent the film industry to become a place where artists aren't no longer playing to what will sell and are going back to creating things that are good. Speaking of what you were talking about, Chad, Hope conjectures that the way we tell stories in this day and age hasn't changed that much at all in the past 120 years. And Ted Hope believes that the audience and the way the audience consumes film has completely changed drastically, and that it's high time we make some changes. So the first episode, it's a little over an hour and a half. It features like a round table with filmmakers like Lance Weiler and Liz Rosenthal. And actually, they're doing a little Google Hangout just like this, talking about exploring new and innovative ways of storytelling. So it's pretty fascinating. It's worth a look. I watched it. It's really cool. It's called Reinvent Hollywood. It's on YouTube. One of the things they talked about was whether 72 90-minute time limit box having to be released in the theater, etc., for feature films is antiquated. But those are the films that are being funded and recognized, etc.
Right.
So I guess my question is, how long do we think it'll be before the traditional idea of film in a theater, like you go, you buy your ticket, you go into a theater, you sit down for 90 minutes, before that's opened up to include like virtual reality and interactive experiences, etc.? Or do you think that the idea of film, as we know it, has just been put in a box and that's what it's going to be and that's what it's always going to be, and everything else is going to be just everything else?
Well, I mean, there's a really interesting meetup group here in Los Angeles called the Transmedia LA Meetup Group. It's run by Hal Hefner and a few other people that I know. And I used to go, except they started doing stuff on like Wednesday nights and Monday nights, which
Wednesday nights are sacred.
Yeah, clearly. So which sucks. And they specifically deal with a bunch of this stuff. While I was in Hawaii, in fact, they had a kind of a transmedia thing that they raised a lot of money for on Kickstarter, and they ran that. It was like a con of sorts. But it was, so they deal with exactly this kind of thing. This is a topic that I'm really interested in. And there are things that are happening right now that certain movie theater chains, I think, they're doing some really interesting things. I don't think it's ever going to go away. I mean, people are always going to want to. In fact, what's interesting is movies. I don't know if you've been going to the movies, noticing changes that seem to be happening in a lot of movie theaters recently, but they seem to be getting more and more fancy. They seem to be going more and more towards the ArcLight way of doing things, and the kind of crappy ones are, so it's like diving into the live experience.
Yeah.
So that's definitely gonna keep going. But the indie, go ahead.
Did you guys hear about, speaking of making things fancier and fancier and the whole interactive experience, did you hear about the Night Before Our Stars? Did you hear about this event?
No.
I should have covered it, but we had so much stuff going on already. On Thursday, the day before The Fault in Our Stars came out, you could buy tickets to a special advance screening of the film at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but the screening happened at the exact same time all across the country, and it started at 5:30. The movie played, and as soon as it was done, the screen was taken over by a live feed of John Green and the actors who were broadcast live to all of these movie theaters across the country, and they answered Twitter questions and talked to fans about the film and the process of it and everything like that, and that went on for like a whole nother hour or 2 hours after the film. So it's like, I think that people are trying to figure out ways to integrate shit like that.
I mean, in Breaking Bad, the finale of Breaking Bad had a similar sort of thing afterwards. I mean, I think that this kind of thing is happening more and more. And I mean, I think The Fault in Our Stars, the thing that makes it believable that this happened, that like it broke, you know what I mean, is YouTube. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? This guy he already has a massive following on YouTube. They know what he looks like. They know what he sounds like. He's a part of their family, in a sense. That's the way that they look at this guy. And so, of course, that's going to happen. And I think that, YouTube gets a lot of flack from a lot of different people because of, because of things that I don't think really make sense. But I mean, we live in fascinating times right now. By the way, just noticed another person jumped on board. Just want to remind you guys, if you comment on the YouTube channel, we can see it, we can comment, we can even show it. We can even show on the screen what you said. So feel free.
Don't freak him out. Don't get all big brother and shit, man.
We don't have to. we can geolocate you. No, you can. Well, you can be a part of this conversation. Is all I'm saying. The choice is yours.
Probably a much more intriguing part.
The power is yours.
I am really interested in that show. That sounds really cool. The Reinvent in Hollywood. I want to see that.
It's a little bit, it's a Google Hangout, so you got to sift through some of the shit, but like it's really interesting. And what's interesting to see is just the different filmmakers from around the world all just chatting. I mean, the whole bottom thing is like just all the way across.
People. Oh yeah, how many people were on?
I think like 9.
Oh wow, yeah.
It's cool.
But that's.
Honestly, they were very polite about it. They were very polite about it. They like raised their hand. It wasn't like people weren't talking over each other like we do.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Let's get on to your
Yes. So again, just a little reminder. This is also we'll talk about some of the stuff that I teased up in my second topic. So I stumbled onto CelebrityNetWorth.com while doing research. For last week's show, because this is all like last week's show stuff. And CelebrityNetWorth.com is clearly a website that tries to estimate the net worth of various celebrities. And a couple months ago, they did an entire article on YouTube stars. They first listed the criteria, which was interesting, by which they made their estimates, and then they listed the top 40 YouTube stars along with what they estimate they're each paid annually from YouTube. According to their estimates, the top 10 YouTube stars make anywhere from $7 million to $3.4 million each year in ad revenues through YouTube. But I read through their criteria and noticed that they didn't take into account any endorsements or commercials or anything negotiated outside of YouTube. And I can promise you that every top YouTuber is being offered all kinds of endorsements, etc., just like this. So, and that's, it should have been taken into account to their ad revenues, but I guess they didn't have any way to do that or realize that it happens. All of the major multi-channel networks have started departments dedicated to finding branded content deals for all of their talent. Rhett and Link, for instance, first hired my girlfriend Kendall when they booked a series of very funny bacon-themed videos that Denny's hired them to do, and they're constantly doing these types of things. And Denny's, went on to play these pretty hilarious things in their restaurants. I actually saw one when I was at Denny's one day. I don't know how much they got for that, but they, like I said, they make a lot of these kinds of deals, and I'm sure that all the other YouTube stars, or at least plenty of them, are doing the same thing. Probably not the Vlogbrother guys. It seems like they're doing plenty on their own, but maybe. I don't know.
No, they don't. They specifically don't do any sponsorship type things or anything like that.
But they don't need to, because they're selling books and frickin' breaking movie records. Anyway. None of this money was taken into account, and I don't think the Vlogbrothers, by the way, were in the top 40, which is interesting.
Yeah, I went to high school with the Gregory brothers, who, I don't know if you know the Gregory brothers, but they did Auto-Tune the News.
Auto-Tune the News, right, yeah.
All that Intruder song and all that stuff. So I went to high school with them. They make a living off of YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Like a good living.
I'm sure they make a living off of YouTube, but I'm sure they make an even better living off of iTunes, because they sell.
They do concerts. They travel around to concerts.
Anyway, that's the thing, is that this Celebrity Net Worth doesn't take into account any of this other money. So YouTube and just about anything ad related is clearly very available for indie stars made on YouTube. Also, crowdfunding, as LeVar Burton just proved, is clearly established, and anybody with an audience and a cause, great product, whatever, can raise plenty of money there. But clearly, the independent content delivery channels are just beginning, as I was talking about sort of in my last topic. And how long will it take it to get going? I think that maybe that's what this guy Ted Hope and his whole thing was trying. We're trying to figure that out. There was a casting director. I got a phone call yesterday from an actor that I know, and he had just left a meeting with a casting director when they were discussing, he didn't use this word, but sort of curation systems. They were, the casting director was lamenting the fact that there are all these web series and he can't find them, so he has no idea where the talent is, this unknown talent, but he knows it's out there, and so he's like lamenting the fact that he can't just kind of go to a place and just sift through a whole variety of different web series. That kind of thing doesn't really exist yet, you know. And yet there's all this content that's out there. Some of it can be amazing. We have no idea. I don't know how much.
For example, my vlog is incredible.
Well, that's what I was. I mean, that was my next point was I don't know how much money you make in your book sales each month, but I know that you don't have a full-time job because that's your job basically, and that's been the case for a while, and that's really impressive.
$10 million, actually. $10 million.
I'm sure.
A day.
Are any of the hundreds of independent filmmakers in this country in a similar place due to their supportive fans? I don't know. I mean, I know that's what the We Make Movies world is trying to help create, is a world where independent filmmakers can follow in the footsteps of many of our independent musician and songwriter friends who develop their own independent ecosystems, and not just the lowest common denominator stuff, but like, full feature films, full perhaps independent television length series, not just these 7 to 10 minute web series. Is that something that we're going to be able to, I don't know. That's obviously my main question. There are a number of YouTube celebs who are basically kind of already there. Freddie W., for instance, has just raised almost $1 million, well, 900,000, just under 900,000 for the third and final season of his video game High School, And these ecosystems already exist on YouTube, but can they spread into worlds that are outside? Are independent artists going to be able to create independent TV shows, independent series of movies that people are, you know what I mean? It seems to me that all of the structure is there, but very important things like a website or an app that can kind of, call.
I mean, you kind of get that with an MCN. Like you can search different MCNs.
Yes, I mean outside of YouTube though. That's the question.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think that the infrastructure is there. I think that here's the thing: is that for online video there is YouTube. For independent book publishing, what I do for a living, there is Amazon. Amazon is the best site for finding more books like the ones that you already want, and in terms of letting anybody come in. If there was a website that would do this, that was on the scale of iTunes or shoot, I don't know. See, YouTube does this, but they don't quite do it. If you could make a feature film, bring it to YouTube, publish it, and say people are only allowed to watch this if they pay $4.99 for it, then that would be huge. Vimeo has that, except that you need to pay to sign up for it. You can't do Vimeo Pro for free, and that is a turnoff. You should be able to bring short films to Vimeo Pro, put them up, and charge 99 cents for them with no upfront cost.
Yeah, the infrastructures are all over the place. Yakra has it, PivotShare has it, VHX has it. But all these places have that. But $3.2 million is all. I mean, I'm not saying that that's nothing, but in comparison, it is. I mean,
but if YouTube allows you to charge for content, but only once you're what is it, 100,000 followers or something like that?
I don't know.
You have to be at a level. You have to be, as opposed to Amazon, dude. You can publish a 2,000-word essay on Amazon right now and charge $49.99 for it, and people frickin' do that if it's like a self-help thing that's part of their.
Let's go.
I know, right?
But but most of your money doesn't come through Amazon, right? It comes through this foreign version.
Kobo. Well, that's sort of a recent thing, and now they've leveled out to about 50-50. But Kobo as well. You can bring anything, publish anything, and charge whatever you want for it. They make no judgments as to your business practices. They just take a percentage of whatever you sell, and it's absolute freedom, absolute democracy. And YouTube is like that, except that they won't let you charge for it. What I think is the bigger issue, maybe not in terms of like creating huge breakout hits and whatever, but is that there are sites where you can do this that just aren't very big right now. But a bigger problem to me is that, at least in my own experience, I would say the vast majority of independent filmmakers have no idea about finding and connecting directly with an audience. There is nobody out there who are making short films or feature films and trying to find an audience. They are okay. Not to be a horrendous self-plugger, but this is the exact thing that I am pissed off about and talking about in Rebel Yell. This is that is what this book is about, is that people are like, I've got to bring my art and make a studio realize how brilliant I am so that they will fund my feature films or my music album or my novel for publishing houses and record labels. People think in independent film that the whole point of independent film is to get in with the studios or to get other people to recognize your gene. It shouldn't be. You should be making films and finding the audience for those films and working out an exchange. If that involves, I'm going to be putting shit up on Vimeo this year and I'm going to pay the stupid $200 upfront fee to be able to do this and start putting things up there and cultivate my audience so that I have people who are on the lookout for me and say, oh, hey, he's got a new short film. I'll pay 99 cents for that, and the next one, and the next one, and then, hey, he's got a feature film out. Well done. Good for him. I'll pay $5 for that.
The problem is that the adoption is not there. You know what I mean? Like all of the infrastructure is there, but it has not. I think that there are certain things missing. Like, for instance, at Yekra, at PivotShare, at VHX, all of these things, all they do is provide you, just like Blip TV does, an opportunity to kind of put your stuff up there and then put it on your own website. The reason why YouTube wins is because they have all of these people going on to YouTube that are actually searching on YouTube for this content, and that they've got that kind of down. They've got that system kind of down, and that's an interesting.
That is interesting. Missing. That's what I'm saying is that I wish the infrastructure was better, but you don't necessarily need it. For example, I do not have tremendous search power on Amazon, but over a year and a half, I have built one audience member at a time. I'm constantly in communication with my readers saying, hey, if you like this, please leave a review so that I can promote it elsewhere and people say, oh, this book has 100 reviews or whatever.
But the point is you shouldn't have to do that. And this world is never going to, and you already have an infrastructure. The writers already have, and Kindle is already, you know what I'm saying? Like Amazon's already set up. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about for independent film. You know what I'm saying? For independent film, for independent video content.
And what I'm saying is, I get the infrastructure that you are saying should exist, and I agree that it should exist. It absolutely should. If somebody put that website together tomorrow, if somebody put up YouTube paid tomorrow, it would be huge for independent filmmakers. It would be a huge boon to the artistic industry. They'd be what iTunes is to music, and what YouTube is to online video, and what Amazon is to books. But even without that, I'm saying that independent filmmakers can make it happen by building their audience a piece at a time.
Well, I agree, but I don't, because, like I said, I repeat, you already have a system that is working for tons of independent artists, independent filmmakers that want to do stuff outside the world of YouTube that's not meme, they don't really have it. YouTube does not provide for it. YouTube is set. Everything that YouTube is kind of built around grab you instantly, grab you and hold on to you. What I'm talking about is more like a Hipmunk. I don't know if you guys know the app Hipmunk, but Hipmunk, it pulls from all of it. Like, you want to go somewhere, you say, oh, I want to go from LAX to Hilo, Hawaii for a couple of weeks or for a week. You punch it in, and then it pulls the information from Orbitz, from Priceline, from whatever, from every other thing, and it says, okay, here's a collection. Now, if we had a similar thing that did that for, independent movies, or not even just independent movies, all movies that are available online, and paid and not paid, and it were to say, okay, what do you want to watch? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And then here's your list of things, and it's from everywhere. Like, if there was, and, Netflix has this algorithm set up. YouTube clearly does for what they do. What we need is a Hipmunk that does this for independent video content.
No, I get what you're saying. What I'm saying, which I don't know if
I
I'm
get your
saying
point.
it
I get
wrong.
your point.
I'm
Artists
just
still
saying you
have to
can
do
do
this,
it
but I
without
think,
that.
but my entire point, no, you can't. No, you
I
can't.
get both
Not
your
as an
points.
independent, not as an independent video artist, because the infrastructure is not there. That's my point. Is we don't have what you have. Independent writers have something that does not exist
No.
for
See,
video content
what
creation.
I'm saying is that I'm not building an audience because people are finding me organically through Amazon search algorithms. I'm doing it because I am personally and through my fans reach all of my sales and everything like that comes from recommendations. So if you can publish short film like I'm going to start doing, it's hey, reaching out to the people that you know. Like all of my shit started from friends and family who were like, hey, you should go check out this book. Hey, you should go. Word of mouth. Word of mouth is the best marketing ever. And people think that like, oh, you can just like hack the search algorithms and whatever. And you can, but you shouldn't be thinking like that. You should be thinking of how can I make something so awesome that anybody who I make watch it goes and immediately tells their friend, you have got to go and watch this film. I don't care what a pain in the ass the website is. You have got to go and watch it. And obviously you're going to have fallout and whatever,
Yeah.
but...
No,
Okay,
I
so
see.
I get
Go
both
ahead,
of your
Michelle.
points. I get both of your points. And here, if I can wrap it up a little bit, because we're going a little long.
Yeah,
I think, Chad, I absolutely agree with you. I think the problem with that is the sheer volume. That there are billions and billions of films, online content, that kind of thing. And not only the sheer volume, I think the problem is categorizing something. I mean, I get it with the flight, but it's from a specific place to a specific place. It's a time, that kind of thing. Like, how do you take some kind of online content and categorize it? I mean, like, is it horror? Is it sci-fi? Is it, you know what I mean? So I think it's the task of creating some kind of algorithm for that kind of volume and putting it into something. I mean, that is a huge thing. Garrett, I completely agree with you, but I see where Chad is kind of, I mean, here's the thing with writing a novel. There's really no overhead other than your
Exactly.
time. If you're making a film, you're spending thousands and thousands of
Exactly.
dollars on.
well, not necessarily. I made overnight for $500, and like if I can put that up there and sell and get 500 people to pay $1 for it, then that's profit. You know what I mean?
But that's one. But that's one. I mean, and her
Yeah.
point is valid, and exactly it was exactly the next thing I was going to say is that it does not become a viable effort until you've hit a lot more. You know what I'm saying? You can.
But that's the thing is that if you can make 6 films for $500, and the first one you market it and you just through your own blood, sweat, and tears get 500 people.
I'm
and
not
the
saying it's
next
impossible. I'm just saying that the effort required is
Inefficient.
substantially more based on the overhead.
But
I think it's initially inefficient though, because once it snowballs, it has the potential to eventually turn into something.
exactly, and it's not the cart before the horse. It's you need both at once, because the thing is that
Yes,
what I'm saying is
that's my point.
independent filmmakers aren't going out there and trying to directly connect with their audience, and they aren't trying to directly sell to their audience. Some of them are, but the majority are not. And so why would anybody develop this infrastructure?
But the thing is that you can blow up on YouTube. You can blow up with little to no effort. There are means. There is no such means. There is no such means for independent artists.
Right, but how many? Yeah, okay.
It's rare. Listen, it doesn't happen all the time.
It's the American Idol syndrome, though. I think you do the work, and like blowing up with little to no effort. There's a girl that I think she's like 18 and she's a new YouTube star. She's on Good Morning America. Just her sitting at her piano singing a song she wrote.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Great.
Rain, I mean, blah blah. You know what I mean? Like that's my point. Is that
But
you
she's
guys?
been doing it for years. There are videos of her when she was 15, fucking making this shit.
Right.
Which people don't know. People are like, overnight sensation. She's not an overnight sensation. She's been doing it for a while. It's just we think that she's an overnight sensation. I think a lot of people
I think you guys, I think that more you than Michelle are missing my point. the point is that there is no
I get
YouTube.
your point, and I'm saying it should exist, but I think that your focus is wrong in that if people were trying to connect...
I get your point.
Let me finish. If people were trying to connect and sell directly to an audience, then somebody would build the infrastructure. You see what I'm saying? Everybody thinks...
No, but I'm sorry, but that's not true. People are doing this stuff in this world. John Reese wrote an entire book about it. People have been doing this thing for years.
But like
this
who?
Is, John Reese and tons of other people that we've never heard of.
They will come.
No, but there are tons and tons of independent artists that are doing this right now and surviving. I've gone to a few different things. Peter Broderick did a thing several years ago, and there's a guy who is successful doing exactly what you're doing with plane movies. He's just going and fucking shooting sorry, Mom, if you're watching this, I swore. But shooting these, so this kind of thing is happening, and it's happening out there. We're just not hearing about it because it's happening direct to fans, like what you're talking about. What I'm saying, and what I've been trying to say since the beginning of this, is that this is... we need the YouTube for this. We need the Netflix for this. We need the Amazon for this. I'm not the only person that thinks so. There are people that are doing what you are doing right now with your fans. Maybe you don't know them, but I've met them, and I know they exist, and I'm telling you they're out there, and there's no place for them to go viral. And that's what I'm calling for, is we need this. We need to, I thought for half a second that I'd be able to build this like 3 years ago, and then I was like, I'm not a mathematician. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? But if somebody were to build something like this, and maybe it's the kind of thing that Google can do to tweak. Amazon is sucking serious butthole with the way that their own, in video, it's a different thing.
I love he drops the F-bomb but says butthole.
Well, the F-bomb was sort of a mistake. It slipped out. Your passion. But from now on, I have to remember that my mom might be watching at any moment. So.
Hi, Mom. Speaking of watching, we should...
Yeah, we should probably wrap it up.
All right.
As exciting and really cute as it is to see boys fight.
This is not a
your
fight.
little mediator. It's fun. I got it. But as with me always, it's all about the overhead. So,
my point is that I think that it will happen eventually. I just don't think that as a filmmaker, it's something I need to worry about. Just like
you don't need to worry about this. You already have an audience that you've built through your books. But the thing is, I am fascinated with this because I'm helping build a community who's, who we're not, honestly, and I know this and I've always known this, I don't think we're going to be able to turn that switch and become a viable thing until this exists. And this thing will exist. I just thought it was going to exist a lot sooner.
All right. Well, we've definitely gone long now, and my wife is probably going to cut my balls off, so we should wrap it up. We wrap up, as always, with things to know. My thing to know, this week I learned something on a Mac computer that I should have known for a long time. When you're on a Mac, you can switch between different windows in the same app. You know how you can switch between different apps by hitting Command-Tab? Right. Yeah. In the same app, you can switch between different windows with Command-tilde, which is the little key right above the tab. So if you've got multiple Safari windows open, Command-tilde will switch between them for you so that you don't need to manually click to them. I should have known this for years, and I just found it out this week.
It's not working. I'm trying to do it right now.
Are you definitely on a Mac?
I'm on a... Ask me again if I'm on a Mac.
Are you on a Mac?
My thing to know. I'm going to be a dork. I'm shooting a film this week. Starting shooting a film this week. It's a little rom-com. It's very cute. It's Shemar Moore and Natalie Velasquez. And I think, looking at the script and stuff, that my scene is with Mario Lopez, who's a dear heart. And it should be hilarious, and I get to be ridiculous and hopefully funny.
Yay!
That'll be fun.
That's awesome.
Here, hold on. Everybody hold on.
That's awesome. My thing to know is Dances with Films ends tonight. My piece Tuesday morning and was in it. WMM Fest is coming soon. Starts June 18th. I have Tuesday morning, if you haven't seen it yet, which won Best Film in Big Island Film Festival, and cross your fingers for tonight. The awards thing for Dances with Films tonight, so I won't know until tonight if we did anything. We're playing on the 18th and the 27th. I have another piece playing in WMM Fest called Favored Nations, which I need to hurry up and finish, and Pappy and Slappy. That's also a little sketch thing that's hilarious. I think it's very funny. I got lucky in getting the piece. It's hilariously well written. So I just feel very lucky to have gotten it. That's also playing at WMM Fest. Also, I was asked to direct a piece called Steps, which right now has a Kickstarter campaign going. They've already got 16%. They're, I think, like maybe 24, 48 hours in. It's a short based out of, well, my friends are from Michigan, but they're out here over the summer. And, like, I don't think they're even 21 yet. They're kids, but it was actually our intern last summer, Will Ropp. $4,000 goal. They're already raised $640 of it. They asked me to direct it, so I'll be directing that in July. Go Kickstarter, just search for Steps. It's really easy to find. It has like a red cup. So Steps, and you'll see the red cup. Click on that and feel free to give to that or share the news. So there you have it.
Huzzah! And with that, I will call an end to this week's festivities. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for the couple of
podcast.
Happy 50th podcast! Yay! Thanks to the couple of live people who tuned in. I'm Garrett. You can find me at garrettbrobinson.com. Chad is at superfreako.com, and Michelle is at mlucadoo on Twitter. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.